Ladies and gentlemen, this is it! Path of Exile is finally out as open beta, so that means no more character wipes, and anybody can get in at pathofexile.com. Feel free, download, play the game. It's absolutely 100% free, and you don't have to pay anything to keep playing it. No monthly fees. Fantastic. So, I'm here to go ahead and start a playthrough, which according to my Facebook poll, everybody wanted to see Shadow. So we're going to try that out. And I think what I'm going to try and do is a claw route with my Shadow. We'll see as things go along, as I haven't been able to delve too deeply into the skill tree system. There's so many things in the skill tree system. I really recommend going in it, taking a look at... there's a skill tree generator, honestly, on the Path of Exile website. Take a look at that, and it's going to take a bit, because there's a lot there, and so many things can change your character. What you might want to do, if you plan to start this game, is pick one of the standard characters that use the primary stats of either strength, intelligence, or dexterity. By that I mean either the Marauder, the Ranger, or the Witch. That'll make it quite easy to start out, because then you only have to worry about one primary attribute, and then you can work your way from there, play with the skill tree a bit, and then later go back to, say, pathofexile.com or something like that, take a look at the skill tree and use the builder there to kind of figure out how you might want to level. That might be a good way to start. I'm going to just kind of dive right in. I've already played a little bit of a Shadow, not entirely how I'm going to play one through here, but I wanted to get an idea of what kind of skills I could see going forward. So we're going to go ahead and pick him now.
A simple job, I was told. Silence a big mouth, get a big payout, and no one was going to be the wiser. Tidy, except for one loose end. Me. I would have kept my mouth shut. Professional integrity, it's called. Unfortunately, not something my employers believed in. They raised a toast to a job well done. I drank, and the next thing I know, I'm on this stinking crate bound for exile. It's not a complete loss, I suppose. The way I hear it, there'll be plenty of work for a man of my talents in Rayclast.
Alright, here we are, and I'll go ahead and turn off the global for now.
Nothing like a brisk dip to start the day. Now where on God's arse am I?
Alright, so they start me off with a shank. Excellent, so we get a dagger.
We're all that made it. They dumped 24 of us exiles off that ship. Guess that makes us the lucky ones. Luckier than this poor bastard beside me, at any rate. Splinter sticking out of me? Missed all the important bits. I saw smoke at those ruins up the beach. Go get some help. And I might just...
Ooh, you might just nothing. I think you're done for, buddy. Hey, he gave me another weapon. Excellent. Okay, so we get double strike to start with. A melee attack, 8 mana cost, 70% damage effectiveness, 2 fast attacks on the target enemy with your main hand melee weapon. So if I were to be dual wielding, it wouldn't do anything. I could go ahead and do that now, as we can see here. Let me go ahead and zoom into my wonderful killer, which that's apparently what he is. He's assassin. Gets to keep his tools. Huh, it's kind of nice. Okay. So if I use that ability... Yes, okay, so he's only doing the dagger, so the animation does pay heed to that. Now keep in mind, this is the first night of the open beta. So, what's going to happen here is we may get a few disconnects as we go, and as you can see there, I'm getting a little bit of lag. The game is, as you can see, it's not going to be very responsive at times. So, unfortunately, that might make the game look a little bad in this video, but I'll apologize for that now, and honestly hope it doesn't put you off. This is just because the servers are really being overloaded right now. There's so many players. In fact, the Singapore server has been overloaded, and they're asking them to go over to the America servers in order to be able to get in, to help with the load, as it were, since the American servers at this hour are not being hit nearly as bad. So, Path of Exile, I'm going to warn you coming in, This is not an easy game. Especially when there's lag involved. There were a few deaths on my end when I came in and dabbled with open beta hitting. And it's something what you're going to want to get used to is using potions. I have a few on my bar right now, and as you can see I'm getting low on health, so I'm going to use one now. Just go ahead and spam my abilities here.
Short on mana.
So that's fine. What I'll do is I'll use my mana potion to make that a bit easier. There we go. So with potions, if you haven't played this game before, what happens is you can see here, I get 60 health over 6 seconds, and it consumes 7 out of 21 charges. So it currently has 21 charges because it's full. How do I get more charges? Well, I kill enemies, so I don't have to carry multiple potions. That's fantastic. All I have to do is use it, kill some enemies, I get my potion back. But that's the thing, is you kind of have to get used to actually using the potions and not really spamming them, because obviously the problem with spamming them is you won't have them available when you need them. And much as I expected from the fact that I couldn't hit an enemy, is I got disconnected already. So yes, let's go ahead and keep going for now, and if it really stays bad, we'll save this for another night. I really don't want to make this game look bad on its, opening, because of its opening night. Really, it's something that you can't really do much about. It's, let's face it, honestly, things are working very well considering it's the first night. Their servers have been holding up pretty well. It's only me getting disconnected when that happens too. It's not everybody. When I was playing with friends earlier, I was getting disconnected while they weren't, and of course there would be times where they would get disconnected and I wouldn't. So it's just a bit of instability with the connection. So great. Let's go ahead and look over some of the items, shall we? Being a shadow, I focus on intelligence and dexterity. Now that's not to say that I have to do either one. In fact, with the build I'm planning to make, I'll be focusing a majority on my dex, but I'll just have a bit more intelligence. And depending upon how I go and what items I find, and of course what skills I get, I may end up having to get some intelligence as well, as I plan to go into mana shields for this. So let's see here. What have I got? I have a one-handed sword and of course a dagger. Daggers get a 40% global critical chance increase, that's nice. Whereas clubs get a stun duration. Alright, so let me use this other dagger instead to get more crit. I could use a shield, but I don't think I will. These vests are pretty much identical here, as you can see. Other than that, I've got this sword which has accuracy. And the sword has 4 to 8 damage compared to the daggers I'm using, which are 3 to 11, and has 1.3 attacks per second to the daggers 1.4. So the daggers are obviously more DPS, and I want to continue to use them. Additionally, my double strike has leveled here. I just have to click the button, of course, to level it up. Why wouldn't you? Well, because of spell costs. If I don't level it up, the spell costs stay the same. If I do, then the spell cost goes up. Not only that, but the requirements go up. If this were, say, an intellect item and I didn't have as much intellect, I might not be able to level it if I couldn't meet the requirements. So, let's see here. It is a 70% effectiveness, 8 mana cost. Let's go ahead and level it. And 3% increased physical damage there. Very nice. Okay. Zombie, come here, die, please. It's very nice of them to die for me. I like that double strike. Looks good, looks good. The combat feels pretty good here. There is some clunkiness. As a melee character, it's not that bad. I've noticed as a casting character, though, it can be a little awkward because of slow casting times. Now, this can be changed. There are gems that you can use to increase your casting time. Well, decrease your casting time. You don't really want to increase it with how slow it can be. But as a melee, it's not too bad. The only issue I have, of course, is the enemies sometimes not registering that I've hit them due to the amounts of lag that are happening right now. But again, that is not representative of the game under normal operation. It's just the high load they're going through right now. So here I am on my Shadows tree. I'm planning on going down this way towards the Ranger tree a bit for the dexterity boosts, and I'll be going for claws as I mentioned before. So my first passive is going to be attack speed, getting 6% increased attack speed. We'll be going probably this way. We'll get some movement speed and probably the physical damage. Not the projectile damage, as of course I won't be using projectiles. And then we can get here to acceleration, which is one of those nice medium nodes, which will give me attack speed and dexterity. Alright, we're moving on. We're about to run across our first mini-boss here. There he is, Hillock. And my first quest to kill him, if I bring that up, you can see here, there it is, kill Hillock. Okay, so apparently Hillock is imbued with additional life. Oh, and as he gets low on life, as you can see there, he pulled a sword out of his chest. Alright, let's get a bit more mana. Oh, use my potion. And an explosion of loot, including my first portal scroll. How nice.
Too much baggage.
A few blue items. I'm going to want these. Okay. Let's probably get rid of some of the white items then, I suppose. What should I get rid of for this? Probably the plain vests. I already have one. There we go. And let's just go back to town. And we'll see. You'll see one here. One nice thing is when I get back to town. Let me use my potions, and you can see this. Your potions will fill up when you go back to town. So at any time, if you're in the middle of combat and you need to fill them up, or if you get a waypoint and you've used them, go back to town. There it is, all filled up. Now, in the beginning of the games, when you're starting out here, and what I might do, and I'll cut things up as I do it, is come back to town frequently, because as you can see, you can't hold a lot of items, especially because many items are a height of 3 squares here. Hardly any are a height of 2. Including daggers, as you can see here. I'll just take that off real quick. Daggers are 3. I would have imagined daggers should be 2. So, I feel like inventory management in this game is a little difficult because of that, and I hope they kind of look into that. Well, they won't, obviously, I'm pretty sure, because the game is now in the beta and has been like this, or in open beta, and it's been like this for a while. It just would have been nice to see. Maybe if they just changed things like the daggers at some point to make them 2, but I guess that wouldn't work too well with their gem system here and the sockets. Oh well, it's a minor gripe, honestly. And you don't have to carry all these items, but what I'm going to be doing is bringing them back because of, well, selling stuff and the way that this game uses currencies.
Welcome to our home away from home, for what it's worth. I'm Nessa, that putrid giant you just laid to rest. That was Hillock. You're lucky. He's eaten stronger exiles than you. Don't count on that luck lasting. It's in short supply here in Rayclast. Still, you've rid us of a curse, and we owe you our thanks. Lionel's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live, but should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater.
Alright, so what we can do is sell items, and I recommend this for the beginning at least, is grab some of these white items and sell them, because you'll get scroll fragments, and these become scrolls of wisdom, which you'll use to identify items as you go along. Unidentified items, if you were to sell them, and this goes with the vendor recipes thing that this game does. Rather than crafting, or rather than having an item to make things out of, like a heraldic cube, you can sell things to vendors in a certain order with certain properties in order to get certain items back. You're going to have to look this up, honestly, because I don't know what all the recipes are, and I couldn't even begin to spout them all. I'd spend a long time just doing that. But these unidentified items will give you transmutation shards. So the white ones will give you the pieces to make scrolls of wisdom. So what I'm going to do here is, that's evasion rating, requires dex, And since I am a Dex int guy, I will probably go ahead and use that. Of course, I can't right now. Let's just hit accept on here. Alright, let's just ignore that disconnect that just happened, shall we? That didn't actually happen. You didn't see it. It didn't happen. Alright, so what I've got here is, since I've already got some iron gauntlets with armor, let's identify this, because this has got a quality to it, a quality of +9, which is actually quite nice. Increased armor, quantity of items found. I didn't realize they had that affix. So rather than magic find, that's just item find. I will actually find more items. That's pretty cool. Alright. Let's go ahead and wear that. There we go. And of course, let's take a look at this, since that's got evasion on it as well. Increased block and stun recovery, reflects 1 physical to melee attackers. Not bad. Plus, it's got not only a green socket like this one does, but it's got a link to a blue. So there we go. Looking alright. Let's go ahead and sell these items. The key to move things over quickly, by the way, is the control key. So there we go. We got an additional scroll. Now, as you can see here, I've actually gone through a bit and collected quite a few of these orbs, but I haven't gotten that far. So these you can find just through standard selling of items. So it's not too far ahead. Okay, this wand, I'm not going to waste a scroll on it. Let's just do that. There we go.
A sodden shadow staggered from the surf and surveyed the somber strand. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy, lad. You could poison a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merry Gull. Alas, my Merry Gull is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merry Gull ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Opton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me.
I like this guy. Alright.
What a lovely day!
Fine work with Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, don't tell me. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us the moment his black guards dumped us in the water out there. It's just live or die now. Here, have one of these, and no need to thank me. I'm thinking of myself and the others here. The longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives.
Alright, excellent. My first reward. So I can go into Freezing Pulse, since I'm Dex int based. It gives me a spell to try out. But I think I'll go for one of these decks. So we've got Fire Trap, an explosive trap that burns the ground, or Dual Strike. Attacks with both weapons, dealing the damage of both in one strike. Dual wield only, obviously, does not work with wands. Since I do have 2 weapons, I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. Alright, so with that done, let's see, do I have a... Yes, I do have 1 green socket. There we go. I really don't need Double Strike since I have Dual Strike now. So I'll keep it just to level it, I think. Because any gem I have socketed is going to get about, I've heard people say about 10% of the experience I get. I don't have to use it, it will get it naturally. So let's go out there and do some killing. That's what I do well, apparently. Alright, oh yes, let me swap these around so I can actually use them. There's my dual strike. And so let's kind of take a look here real quick so we can kind of see the difference. Regular attack, obviously. Here's... and that is double strike. There we go, that's pretty nice. really happy to see how much voice acting they've gotten into this game. You know, when you first played the beta, there wasn't a lot. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and start using my potions. Just kind of get into the thick of it. You see, there's no reason I shouldn't use my potions, because I'm killing quite a bit here. Excellent. Feels good so far. The damage is decent. I'm not taking too long to kill things. Potions are keeping me alive.
Feeling a bit short on mana.
Not bad at all. So, we need more experience because we're about to hit level 3. Hey, congratulations to Jerk. He's been leading the levels for a while now. He is the first to level 60. So they do have a world first system.
I'm impressed by how much this place wants me dead.
This place really does want you dead, doesn't it? So they are going to have a world's first for that stuff. Of course, there's no crafting or anything like that, so you won't see world's first leatherworker or anything like that. But it's nice to see they do that. Ooh, what leveled up? Okay, dual strike. Let's take a look here. So no major mods to it right now. Let's see what happens when we level it. 3% increased physical, so much like double strike. So double strike is apparently just for single weapons, dual strike is for 2, doing close to the same thing. I do like the, I will admit, I kind of like the double strike animation a bit better, but dual strike's not bad, and it makes sense for the context. Okay, so passive point. When I say level 3, apparently level 2 is what I meant. Never mind. Okay, let's get the movement speed. Movement speed is always nice to have. Oh, it is level 3. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, you don't get a skill point to start off with, apparently. Right. Oh, These enemies are really interesting. They're kind of like, well, considered crabs by the locals, really. Yep, potion time. These crabs that I'm fighting now, they don't have the shells. But what's interesting is you go further on, you'll fight some of them that do. And as you fight them, you eventually kill them, and when you do, all you're doing is knocking the shell off of them. And then you have to fight them without the shell, which is pretty cool. Alright, so picking up as many items as I can to start with so I can have plenty of identify scrolls. I'm basically going to make sure that the identify scrolls that I use are only on this character. It just makes it easier, especially since I just plan to carry them on the character. I don't like putting my identify scrolls into my stash. So there's no auction house to worry about, so I don't have to try and make this a no auction house run or anything like that. That's going to happen naturally. The only way for me to get other items from players is to barter with them directly and use the trade window. Alright, let's kind of go up here. As you can see, I've got the nice map opened up here. I still don't really care for the map on this, to be honest. It's not bad. It gets the job done, I suppose, but can sometimes be hard to read based on whatever textures you're around. Ooh, a chromatic orb. That's a nice find. Excuse me. Alright. Give me some mana back. There we go. Whew. So what does the chromatic orb do for me? Oh, there's the armor scrap I found earlier. Okay, improves the quality of an armor. So here's an interesting thing about these things that improve qualities. They work better on early level items than they do later. So, for example, I have white items, I have blue items, later you'll see yellow, and then of course there's even higher. This will give the most benefit to a white item. I believe it's like 5%, and then the blues it's like 2%, and then anything higher is 1%. As you can see here, the maximum quality increase is 20%. The way the skill system works in here, or the crafting system, is that you can basically take a white item that is roughly the kind of stats you want, and like this one, it already has quality on it, which is great. I could boost it even further with this and get it up. And what I could do then is use one of these orbs that takes white items and turns them into a blue, or perhaps into a random. So you can actually craft by using a bunch of orbs and just randomly creating your own item, get the quality up, and then recraft it. It's a pretty cool concept, honestly. I look forward to playing with it a bit. We got a magical shank. So this one has cold damage and life when I kill. That's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and put that... I'll put that as my primary. I will take the green gem and put it in there. Very good. And that's... let me see. That's I think I'll use that as my offhand, actually, because my offhand has the same stats and this has more sockets. So let's do that. So sword and anything else. I've got this, which has got better quality, but the one I'm wearing has even more. Some shoes. I don't have any shoes on me. It's increased energy shield, quantity of items, and boy, well, apparently I'm getting quite a few quantities here. Alright, what about this? We've got a green and a blue here, that's a red. This has got evasion and energy shield, which fit me, honestly. Evasion and energy shield, that's dex and intelligence, is what I'm all about. So you see, dex will give me evasion for every 5, and intelligence gives me energy shield for every 5. So, I am thinking of using that. Oops, I accidentally swapped weapons. What was that, X? Yeah, that's X. Okay. So I've got 2 greens. That's a 3rd green. I've got plenty of greens on me, honestly. I don't have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and use that. And I'll turn my character around so we can kind of see what it looks like. There it is, kind of a mask. That's pretty cool. Alright, we are good to go. We're going to move forward and keep killing. Let's clear this area out up here real quick, shall we? There it was. I saw a little bit of the cold damage go through right there. Barrel, some chest. Ooh, an amulet. Not just any amulet, that was a yellow. That is nice. Oh, more zombies right here. As you can see, I've filled up my magic flask already, and I used it in the middle of that last combat.
Feeling a bit short on mana.
So you can see that using your flasks is really a good thing to do in combat, because you'll get them back fairly quickly, especially if you're killing a lot of enemies. So let's see what kind of amulet I've got. A blood collar. A 26% increased mana regeneration, so that's really going to help. I won't need the potions as much. Gives me cold damage, life gain when I kill, more armor, maximum life, cold resist, and again, quantity. Now this is going to be great, because this cold resist I'm going to need. The end boss for this act is all about cold damage. I've experienced that the hard way, thanks to the beta. Okay, rusted cask. Can I possibly pick that up and carry it? I can, actually. Let's move these around to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to town and come back here. And here we are, back again, killing someone immediately. This is what these games are all about. This game definitely has a dark feeling to it. It is a... it's got good graphics, honestly. It's... feels good. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this a little more than Diablo in some ways, because there are a lot of people that thought Diablo 3 was not quite dark enough, and I think this one will probably fit that need. I think I would like
Feeling a bit short on mana.
to get the combat in this to feel more like either Diablo 3 or Torchlight 2. Those I still think excel at combat in comparison. Although as you can see here, the lag has not been hitting near as hard, so it's actually getting better and easier to go about killing and fighting. I can move without too much issue. I think part of that is they just put a recent announcement out that the Singapore realms have pretty much come back up, so it's looking like the America realm is not being hit as hard now, so that we're experiencing a bit less lag because of that. So, okay, over there is the mud flats, but over here should be where my quest is. If we look at the map here, you can kind of tell these are roughly in the position that they're going to find the exits on the map. So if I go up, that should be mud flats, and then this way is where my quest is, so you can tell by the highlight when I go over here. Before we do that, we have a skill available. So we're not getting projectile damage because we're not using projectiles. One-handed damage though. There we go. Now, one thing I did mention about this game in its beta when I was playing it is something about the camera feeling a little bit off. And that feeling, I think, comes from the fact that the camera is not really a true isometric. It's a little higher than what I think many of us are used to in, say, Diablo, Torchlight, and all those. The camera is more 45-degree angle, I believe, would... So that is something that I've heard from people I know that can sometimes be a little disorienting, is the position of the camera. Oh, here we go. A minor nuisance for some, but you know, for some people it can actually make a difference. So here we have Tide Striders. You can tell by the blue bar around the health bar there, they have shields. That's what that's all about. Ooh, here we go. Level on my skill. I'm liking that cold damage. It seems to really be slowing them down. Okay, so let us level it up and see what we get. Which one was that? That was double strike, level 3, level 2. Yes, it was. So 6%. I imagine that dual strike will get the same. So I can use my double strike for now, because honestly, double strike will probably do more damage because it's got the elemental damage on it. And it's got, of course, the increased level. So since this is level 3, I may want to start using that for now until my dual strike can level up. Let's look around here. Oop, a little bit of warping there. Let's go ahead and... yeah, let's start...
Feeling a bit short on mana.
Alright, let's get some mana back so we can start slashing a bit more. Beautiful thing is I can just kind of hold the button down and I will repeatedly use the ability until the monster is dead. Oh, coral ring. Maximum life. Okay, I think at this point I can stop picking some of these up. Rusted spikes aren't too bad because they're only 1 wide. What else I get? Blacksmith's whetstone, which increases the quality of a weapon. Much like that increases armor. So what did I get here? That's energy shield 4 with evasion rating. That's energy shield 7. No, I don't think so. I don't think I'll be using any of these, honestly. So I didn't really talk about energy shields yet. That's kind of the blue bar here next to my health bar. And energy shields react in the same way they do in like a game like Halo. Which is kind of odd to compare a first-person shooter to a action RPG. Oh, here we go. That's going to help. That is my first claw weapon. I plan on going to claws. For now, it's not too big of a deal. 4 to 10 with 1.35, so it attacks, oddly enough, a little slower than my dagger on my offhand. But as you can see, where daggers gain the general bonus of giving critical strike chance, which is kind of nice. So daggers are obviously based around crits. Claws are based around life gain on hit. So as you can see here, I get +3 life for each enemy hit by my actions, which is kind of nice. I want to go into claws. I'm not too happy with the roll-up, though. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and swap items, and we'll just put it on my primary there. As you can see, there it is. It's just kind of a piece of wood with nails on it, or spikes. So that works. I'm surprised it's slower than the dagger, to be honest. 6.5 critical strike chance compared to 6.2, but this also has global critical strike chance increase. Ah, bugger all, that was another disconnection. Alright, we're doing okay though. A few monsters to kill, and it looks like my dual strike will be ready soon.
Feeling a bit short on mana.
Ooh, a small life flask, how nice. And a level. Let's take a look at it, shall we? There it is, 6%, just as predicted. So let's see, any of these that I want? Not necessarily. Oh, here we have a boss shooting at us, apparently. Yes, watch out for that frozen. Oh, looks like it got me. Uh-oh. Try and take out the minions first. Hailrake. Resist chaos, extra cold, cast ice spear. And apparently gets eviscerated. Ah! Scroll of wisdom, a maul, a rusted sword.
Too much baggage.
Yes. Ooh, pull ring, maximum mana. Okay, excellent. Grab that. So, I need to make room. I need to make a lot of room, actually. Unfortunately, that's the way this works. Let me show you this medicine chest. There you go. Nice and big. Quest item takes up a lot of room. Dr. Shaky Hands Upton traveled with only the finest medicines and antidotes, and a curiously generous supply of opiates. Alright, so I will probably come back and just collect a few more because we need to clear this out. But for now, let's go and turn this in so we can clear up a bit of the inventory. Ooh, see, look, he even dropped a portal scroll. How nice of him. Let's go ahead and do that and head back.
A medicine chest. This means more to us than you can know. There are some who wouldn't have lasted the night without it. Take this, in return for the knowledge that one can do more than suffer and rake-last. You and Tarkley, you give us something better than serums and souls. You give us hope.
Alright, so lovely. She gives me a choice of flasks, so I can have a superior medium of life or mana, or I can grab one of these Quicksilver flasks. Now this is an interesting choice because this was added recently. This was added right at open beta. This wasn't in the closed beta before. A movement speed increasing flask, and this is the response to having an ability called Phase Run that was recently just taken out of the game. Mainly because they felt that Phase Run was being used by too many builds. They want there to be more choice. So they suffer from the same decisions that even Blizzard suffers from. You know, people want to get on them for constantly changing things up. The truth is there's something called game balance that they really want to strive and achieve. So even these guys will nerf skills as well as buff skills because it's required for game health. So in this case, I'm kind of torn. I kind of want to get a life flask, but at the same time, I really think I'm just going to get a Quicksilver so I can move around quickly. Let's go ahead and put that... Oh, I can't just put it on. Let's grab it. Okay. And we'll put it on so we can gather charges. There we go. Very nice.
So, you managed to salvage Shaky Hand's druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that benumbed quack Optin ever did. Here, have one of these.
Yay, another reward. So what's our intelligence-based items? Freezing Pulse, an icy projectile, has a chance to freeze enemies and pass through. So that was the same one as last time, I believe. Raise Zombie. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I could definitely have some minions. What else can I get? There's Fire Trap. Detonate Dead. Poison Arrow. Well, I'm not going to be using arrows. And Viper Strike, which is a debuff on a foe, deals chaos damage over time and can stack up to 4 times. Each time it's reapplied, the duration is refreshed. Requires a claw, dagger, or sword. So that's not bad. Chaos damage is one of those things that's hard to resist. In fact, it used to be unresistible. That, again, changed in open beta. It's poison damage, basically. And what it would do, it would ignore shields and directly affect health. So, that would be interesting. I think I could use that. Basically put the poison down and then start hitting them with another ability. I think that'll work. Thank you, Bestel. Ah, yes, for some reason this one didn't get voice acting. There's a pool near the mud flats, a pond turned septic. You smell it before you see it. I stayed there only long enough to sear the hairs out of my nostrils and to see what dwells there. Dead birds walking. Animals don't seem to rise up after death the same as people do here. So if they aren't raising themselves, what's it doing for them? Or what's doing it for them, sorry. The answer's in that and the fetid pool near the mud flats. I know the place stinks to high heaven, but so does the idea of a flock of overactive birds, carcass hungry for living meat. Clear the place out, do what it is to take out whatever is raising those birds. Yes. A little quick for me there, that's alright.
Still alive, are we?
Is there another quest? I think that was it for the quest. There we go. A dirty job, but somebody has to do it. Fetid pool right there. Oh, that's odd. It doesn't seem like it's highlighting it like it used to. Alright, I went ahead and sold a few things and I added Viper Strike to my bar, just right here for my middle mouse button.
Too much baggage.
And of course, already too much baggage. Alright, let's explore a bit and we'll drop what we need to as we go. There it is, you can see those green globes there was basically the chaos damage ticking. You can see the stacks on them by those orbs.
Too much baggage.
Alright, gonna clear this place out. There's really not much left to this area. We've done the first quest. And I think that's a good place to stop at this point. I'll basically move on to get the waypoint. Ooh, plenty of scrolls of wisdom dropping here, huh? Very good. Evasion rating with 2 green. That's okay. We'll skip on that. Bunch of enemies here. So as I mentioned, if I wait a bit, my energy shield will come back as long as I'm not taking damage. There we go. So eventually, once I get more energy shields, and especially as I go into passives that will buff them, what I might want to do is consider leaving combat every now and then in order to get my shields back, rather than lose my health. Alright, that should do it for this place. A few more monsters to kill. Ooh, a stone axe. Go ahead and grab that. How big is it? Oh, jeez. Alright. There we go. Oh, a small mana flask. Put that here. And is it better than what I have? 65 with 14 out of 40. No, it is not. Alright. We're looking pretty good here, I think. Honestly, it's going to come to a point where I'm going to stop picking up the white items because I don't need the scrolls anymore. Alright, we saw that the exit is over here. Thankfully, this instance is still open. These instances can reset on me after so many minutes away, so I have to be kind of careful if I need to travel back and forth. If I am not quick, I'll have to end up walking through the area again.
With every death, I live a little bit more.
Hey, wow, level 5 already. Fantastic. So once again, we'll do physical damage increase. We're getting very close to our first medium keystone here. Or medium node. This is acceleration again. That'll be attack speed and dex, which is great. And from here, what I'm thinking, especially I have my first claw, I'm wanting to kind of go down this way. I probably won't go through dex. I'll probably get acceleration and end up going through dual wield block, which will give me block chance while dual wielding. You do have a little bit of a innate block chance. I can then, of course, get blinding speed, which is attack speed while dual wielding. Usually these medium nodes are one of the best things to get, so I'll probably get that first before I go down here through damage through dual wielding, and then I'll go down here to start getting the claw skills, which is accuracy and physical damage, and increased attack speed through this node here. I'm not exactly sure where else I'm going to go from there. One thing I'm considering is moving here towards Mind Drinker, which is physical attack damage will be leached back as mana, which will allow me to use my skills very frequently. I don't know about this one over here, Arcing Blows. It's increased lightning damage with weapons. That requires my weapon to actually do lightning damage. So that's a pretty good increase. 30% is a nice change. And I think I'm going to need some elemental damage. I think physical damage alone won't do it, so I might want to consider finding some claws with lightning damage and going for that. That's definitely a possibility. As we can see up here, there's another claw area I can go to, which has damage and all that wonderful stuff. And eventually where I'm going to want to go over here is far to the right. Here, where you can see a few medium stones, where's Soul Raker, which gives me increased physical damage, and then physical damage dealt is leached back as life. And again here, attack speed, life leech, and here damage dealt is leached back as life. So that is really where I'm going to want to start working my way towards over here. So, to that end, the question is, should I go down here first for Claws of the Pride, or work up my way up here first for health? Interesting choice to be sure. Here I could get some frenzy charges, which I believe could be useful. Down here I could get Might or Savant, which is 30 to one of my primary abilities. I have no idea how much I'm going to need either one of these primary abilities, to be quite honest. Let me see. Over here is Fitness for life and strength. So strength is obviously not as important, but it is something I don't think I'm going to want to neglect. So as I go down this way, I could go for Dex, get my Frenzy charges, and just quickly move over here. And then once I get these for life, start going over here for additional damage. I think that's what I'm going to want to do. I think I'm going to want to go over here and get these first. And to go that way, I think I will move down this way, grab this node, and head over. It's quite possible. It's difficult to decide because I could always go here and get Claws of the Pride right away. But that's my plan. I'll be moving towards this way. There you can see instances reset after being empty for 8 to 15 minutes, destroying any connected portals as well. So that's the big thing, is if I spend about 8 to 15 minutes away from any connected area, I will lose it. So it's one of those things. This is why I want this waypoint, because now I can easily come back here to the mud flats. I don't have to go back through terraces, so the next time we start this segment, I can just instantly come back here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the beginning to Path of Exile, and I will be continuing this shadow. I think he's going to be interesting. I have to find another claw, though, and I have to find a decent claw as well. I'm just not sure that that one I found is going to do. So, alright, I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.